Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sam Roberts Wrestling Podcast. Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
Well, look who's back. The Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Bray, once again, what's the haps?
Yeah, I knew this was coming. As I was walking over here, I was planning on what I was going to say, and now you get nothing this time.
Nothing.
Nothing, just, you know.
Well, do you remember the first time I tried to? You just looked at me like.
I think I remember the first 10 times.
Yeah.
But then, like I was just saying, I remember you asking Lesnar, and he ruined it.
He did. Yeah, I guess that's the thing. Like, you watch that, and you're like, how am I supposed to come back? Now he
stole my thing.
He did completely. Well, man, you've had, of course, you're probably aware that I feel like I spent a lot of time complaining about you not winning more matches over the last, 2 years. And then the draft happens and you end up in a prime slot on SmackDown and win the heavyweight championship of the world.
It's been a ride.
Yeah, has this all been hitting you all at once crazy? Because the tag titles weren't that long ago. That was the first championship that you won.
Yeah.
And then to go from that, be like, okay, now it's time for the world title. Or you're like, whoa. It took so long to get here. The fact that it's all coming seemingly so quickly.
Yeah, well, I think that was, I think people expected it of me a long time ago, and I definitely expected it of myself. And it was everything that I wanted to obtain while I was here. And the tag titles was a beautiful thing because, it'll go down as me and Randy won them. And me and Randy were pretty much unstoppable at that time. It was a shame, if we had been on the same page, we'd probably still have them right now.
Yeah.
We could just decorate the whole place with all of them.
Yeah, you'd be the new Horseman. You just have all the gold.
Yeah. So, this is a huge deal for me. It's made my life's work complete, Here we are.
Yeah. So is that what happens? I always wonder, do you feel like everything after now is just the icing? You've done it, you've got your moment?
No. There's a lot of stuff I have to do yet. This is something that was very important to me, and this is something that will cement me. Forever I will be remembered as something special.
Yeah.
But I'm my body is ready to roll for another 15 years.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm not looking at stopping any point, and I got a lot that I want to do. A lot that I want to achieve.
You do that deliberately, how to maintain your body? Because I feel like it looks like, as we're watching, you're throwing yourself around a lot. And it's not like you wrestle limited dates. You wrestle all the time.
Yeah, I've literally spent my entire life destroying my body.
Right. So how do you know you got 15 years left?
I just know.
You do. You
I got nowhere else to go.
Because I got nowhere else to go.
Yeah. This is where I belong. And and hope would have it that I last that long. But
yeah.
That's where I see myself.
Do you feel good going in this year? Because last year, I think it was a year ago that Harper got injured, and you were kind of here at WrestleMania. You were bummed out, about the whole thing.
Yeah, it was. I was in a very bad place last WrestleMania.
You were,
emotionally and physically, I was a little beat up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like all that rage and anger, is what kind of drove me this year and brought me to where I am now. Last year I'm going in and I remember doing this exact thing right here, this media row.
Yeah. And
going to place to place and everyone going, oh, you wrestled Undertaker last year and seen the year before that, and you have no match on the card, and oh, is it over for old Bray? And I was just telling everyone, no, be patient.
Right.
And, it's just really cool for me a year later.
You're probably telling yourself, too, at the same time, be patient, be patient.
Yeah.
Don't freak out.
Here I am a year later, I'm walking into WrestleMania as the champion, and defending the title.
How did you feel about what you ended up doing last year with your segment with The Rock? Because, there's two ways of thinking about it. Yeah. It's a huge segment with arguably the biggest star in the history of the business.
And
he is.
He is.
But at the same time, it's did that further Bray Wyatt? Well, you know what I mean? How did you take that?
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I don't want to. I want to be The Rock. I want to be the next Rock, and and being in there with him and seeing the energy that he can cause the fans to go through, is an amazing thing. But I don't want to be a guy that gets beat up by The Rock.
Right.
I want to be The Rock.
Right.
I want to be better than The Rock.
There's also a couple ways of looking at it. I think that depending on what you do after that, is how that story gets told. Like, if you do nothing after that, then the video is you got beat up by The Rock. But if you do something like win the title and continue to do what you're doing, then the video is what happened right before that when you said you were kicking the door down.
Yeah, it was to say I don't have this championship for a whole nother year and call The Rock out in the next WrestleMania in New Orleans, my hometown. So
what's the moment for you winning that title? Is it holding it in the ring? Is it when they put the side plates on? Is it?
It was walking out of this exact elimination chamber that we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's stairs right there, and like as I got it, it was kind of surreal. Like I don't remember what I was thinking in that place. You know, in that time, I can't remember.
Right.
I do remember walking out and holding it up for the first time and seeing people looking back at me and just kind of like applauding it, you know. And, and I'm as evil and horrible as anyone could be. I know I'm not hiding it.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a true statement that they made, just giving it back to me the way they did.
Do you now? Okay, so you win the title. Do you then realize that, like, okay, I need to amp up the evil, because right now I'm almost coming off as sympathetic because people have been waiting, like people love the character so much, they've been waiting so long to see something like this happen. I can't be that guy.
Yeah, it didn't help that Randy's been a real dirtbag to me lately. You know? But I don't think like that. I can only be me.
Yeah.
So when I come out as champion and when I take on Randy at WrestleMania, I'll be coming out as a violent human being, and I can be taken however people want to see it. However people want it's on my mind. Let's get violent.
Do you like that the you know, I don't know if you want to use the word, like it's pushing the boundaries of like Satanism and all that, right? Like when I'm watching, I like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's a little more intense. It starts to get like, oh, there really is some like weird, like worshiping voodoo, black magic, something, Satanism going on here.
Voodoo. I'm a Christian. You know, I believe in God. And that's a very intriguing statement to a lot of people these days.
Yeah.
You know? And
especially I feel like when you brought when you bring the symbol out, it's like, okay, this is something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here to do. You know, I'm from New Orleans. You know, the voodoo and all that stuff, and I like to bring that in. You know, and I believe in miracles that other people wouldn't. You know, and I have a certain feeling about myself as besides being something else, and I truly believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I am. I just know I'm not like you.
Yeah. You're just going with it.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Is your whole family out here to see this?
I don't know who's here. I haven't really seen anybody yet.
You're just doing it.
I'm kind of like in my own zone right now, tunnel vision, trying to get through this.
Yeah. So how does WrestleMania week pan out for you? Because I know that like it's show to show to show to show, but it seems like WrestleMania week stuff stops at least for a couple of days because you guys are all doing so much media. Mm-hmm. Is that when you have a chance to think about the fact that you're defending, not just in the match, but you're defending the WWE Championship at WrestleMania? Is that when it starts to like click in and you're like,
I think ever since the match has been announced, I think that's all I can think about. You know, this is a very, very big deal to me. And I got the legacy to cement. Randy is already 12-time world champion or whatever he is. And he's done it. It's not his time anymore. It's mine. Mm-hmm. And I've told a couple people this, I'm ready to go out there and gamble my life on this,
Yeah.
This is who I am. This is where I'm supposed to be, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
So this is very important to me, and it's more important to me than it is to him.
Who do you want to be defending the title against? Like coming out of this, who would you like to be in the ring with in a world title scenario, big picture match? There's
a couple I haven't got to that I really would be interested in.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins I haven't got to.
Yeah.
AJ Styles, and just kind of a throwback to someone that I've been at war with my entire career, Dean Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't mind getting back in there with him because we create wonderful chaos together.
Yeah.
We both spent our whole careers trying to kill each other, so it'd be very fitting for us to carry on.
How do you feel about Harper doing his own thing as opposed to you guys being kind of joined at the hip?
Yeah, I'm mixed emotions on that.
Yeah.
But where he's at now, he wants to go do his own thing and go do his own thing, because I know where we are. I know who we are as people, and when the time is right, we'll be back together. You know, he didn't quit being my brother because he turned his back on me, and the same goes for me with him. You know,
yeah.
And when we're needed together, we'll be together again. You know,
yeah.
Like I said, we are brothers.
It's very literal. He changed the tank top, but he's still wearing a tank top. Like he might have changed the color, but it's still it's still the same guy.
I know who he is on the inside. He can't change that.
Absolutely. So you don't really take in that much WrestleMania weekend. You just tunnel vision, focus on this. Like right now, as we're talking, you right in your head is like, what I'm going to do in the Orton match.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do.
And that's the way it has to be. I think anyone that tells you otherwise is either lying or they're not ready for this.
Does Randy Orton share the same enthusiasm? Does he have that tunnel?
Randy Orton didn't just get here by chance.
Right.
You know? Like
right.
He has to.
Yeah.
And he knows how dangerous I am and the things I'm willing to do to myself.
Yeah.
Foley style. You know, I'm not afraid, and he knows that that's something that he's going to have to deal with.
Especially on this stage, right?
Yeah. Especially on this stage.
Right. That would be the night to do it. Does it get tough for you because you're a guy who's committed so much to who you are in the ring, to what you do, like the psychology, everything. I feel like my impression is so important to you.
Yeah.
Is it more difficult to work with somebody that's just like, you know, because those, you know, without naming it, those guys exist, right? They just kind of, they're like, yeah, I know what I go in, I do my stuff, I leave, and you're like, no, we can do something here.
Yeah, I think my who I am and how I deal with things is kind of helps other people get into it, you know. I have a certain way that I do everything, and I'm really into this, you know. I live for this. This is what I do. And I think my creativity and the things I say and how much I believe in everything, I think it kind of carries on to people, and they kind of get behind it when they're working with me because of that, you know.
Do you do yoga? How do you get so flexible?
I started wrestling when I was 3 years old. That's how I got so
and that's it.
Shout out to DDP.
Do you do some DDP yoga?
Yeah, I'll do some DDP yoga.
Yeah, you got see, and that I feel like if Bray Wyatt comes out and says I do yoga, it's like what? But if it's DDP yoga, it's like oh okay.
Yeah.
Somehow DDP has made it acceptable.
Not your mama's yoga.
Yeah, exactly. The King of Darkness. How do you feel about the comparisons? Because they I feel like they came up at first, then they started to slip away a little bit, and now with this run, I feel like they're coming back. The comparisons to the Undertaker character, like because that Bray Wyatt character, I think because it's so all-encompassing and so obviously a part of you, gets compared to the Undertaker, who again, there's a split off between the character and the person there.
Oh, of course, yeah, but it's for me to be compared to the Undertaker is unbelievable, and I've been in there with him. I did a WrestleMania against him 2 years ago, you know, and another one against him and Kane. You know, I don't think that if you put us side by side and you watched our work, they're not similar. They really aren't. I mean, it's the dark stuff that people that kind of brings us together, and people want to branch us, you know. But the thing is that we are completely different, and I think that wrestling needs that kind of dark entity in it, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think that I bring it in a completely different way, but it's still that entity that people need. They need that part of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
That kind of takes you out of the elements, you know? It's not two guys in MMA shorts, you know, rolling around. It's magic and you know, it's
storytelling.
Your imagination.
Yeah.
And it's very essential, I think, to what we do in this industry, that someone like me, someone like The Undertaker exists.
What did you grow up liking about wrestling? Was it because I mean, you know, your family is kind of synonymous with both ends of the spectrum. Was it that sort of more southern wrestling trunks, two guys get in, you know what I mean, like, or was it the characters? And the heavy storytelling that the WWF was doing at the time.
100%. It was the storytelling.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like I've always been a huge fan of like horror movies. I like the feeling of the thrill, you know. And I've always been attached to those kind of movies. So naturally the progression was, you know, when I started watching wrestling, it was the more characters always caught my eye, you know.
Right.
Like one of my earliest memories of this was Papa Shango and Ultimate Warrior, and Papa Shango having the nasty black green ooze coming out of it, Ultimate Warrior with the voodoo.
Yeah.
And I think that type of stuff is the stuff that really sticks in my head,
Yeah, and it's amazing too because like people look back on Papa Shango now like it was kind of like a goof, like that was a silly character, but I remember being 8 years old and being in an audience and hiding, terrified of Papa Shango, and I thought voodoo was real.
Yeah.
It was like there's oil coming down the Ultimate Warrior's head right now.
And that's the thing is voodoo is real.
Right.
And there are people in this world that take that very, very serious.
Yeah.
But all of those characters, you have to have them.
So is that something that you take very seriously as somebody as like the origins of what your character talks about? So if you portray it in a way that's not, it's like being a rapper, right? Like when you're a rapper and you act like you're from the streets, eventually somebody from the streets is going to come up to you and be like, you're not from the streets. I'm going to prove that. Like, is it like the voodoo culture? Mm-hmm. If they see their culture being appropriated in the wrong way, you know what I mean? That's got to be an important.
Oh, I'm sure they would, but I live this.
Right, that's what I mean.
So for anyone to call me out on anything that I've said or that I've done, and try to falsify what I've done, they can try.
Yeah,
they don't. This is me. This is real. You're really talking to me right now.
Yeah.
There is no one else.
Right.
So there's everything I say has to be right because I am him. I am him. We are we.
And I buy it. I mean, every interaction I've had with you, I love when people come to me and they're like, well, when you interviewed him, was he in character? I'm like, that's it. It is what it is. Like, you're seeing it. Yeah. What was your favorite entrance that you've done at WrestleMania? I guess the two that stick out. I mean, last year was big just because of the segment it was in. But the two that really stick out was, of course, 30 and 31.
Yeah.
Were both kind of incredible.
Yeah, and the one with Undertaker was kind of cool because you got to see us back to back. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was dusk and it was different. Last year it was unreal, man.
Yeah.
Like seeing all the lights and the 106,000 people I don't know if anyone will ever top that, if I can ever top that, like being as a visual, but the first one was the most important to me because it was my first one. It was in New Orleans, it was very important. And that's the one that I hold dearest to my heart.
Do you strive for that moment? Like when you're sitting there and you're psychologically, you're not in a good place, like you don't like a year ago. Like, do you just go, I just need to get to the moment when I get out in front of people and I see those lights? Because it's like you don't even need, you get an audible reaction, but you don't even need the audible reaction. You can just look around and visually see the support. Like, are those, when you're not in a good place, are those the moments that you're like, I just have to get to the next one of those?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, if I wasn't ever down, I could never be back up. You know what I mean? So it's like I thrive on these times, and it happens just naturally in my head that when I'm thrown in the dirt, like I cannot wait to get back up. And it is those moments, getting in front of a crowd and going out there with someone and just completely stealing the show.
Yeah.
Those are the things you want. Yeah, I want to do.
Right.
And like the changes in me as a person and as my character. Where I started, where I am now, and what's next, like those things are intriguing to me. What I want to do is be remembered for this. I want to leave a legacy behind for everyone that ever loved me. Yeah, and and those trying times. That's what brings me to the creativity. That I need to get to the next level.
Are you a guy who plans out this character like years? Like here's what I want, or is it just like I'm gonna just see where this goes. Yeah. Like I'm going to see where what this evolves into. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I think it's a natural progression of just a human being. We change.
Yeah.
I'm sure in 1998 you were wearing Jinko jeans.
I was begging for Jinko jeans. Like, let me wear Jinko jeans.
You know what I mean? But right now, if you're walking around with Jinko jeans, I'd probably look at you like you're insane.
Right. No, Bray, they're coming back. They're coming back. I swear.
So, I don't think so. But that's what I'm saying. This is the natural progression of human activity.
Right.
I don't know where I'm going to be a year from now. I know I'll look different, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't plan it. It's just kind of just me changing as an individual.
Right. So like you look now and you're like if you went to the ring in a Hawaiian shirt right now, you're like, this wouldn't make sense for me anymore.
if you showed me a picture of me with dreadlocks and all this wild stuff,
right,
5 years ago, I'd be like, well, what happened to me?
Right, that's not what we're doing here. That's totally different.
What did they do to me?
Yeah. My God. Well, man, I'm happy to see you in this moment.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're happy to be in this moment. Do you travel with the championship?
It never leaves my side.
So it's in your carry-on. I'm sure you're not checking the championship.
Yeah.
Does it get stopped in like airport X-rays and things like that?
They try to. They want to take it out and pick it up and stuff. I don't allow that. You know, this is something it's very prestigious to me.
Right.
I don't like them touching. You know?
Yeah. It's not a toy.
This is not
something.
Not a prop.
Right.
This isn't something you can have and play with. You know, show your friends and take a picture with. This is something I earned. It took me a lifetime to get to.
Can I take a photo with this? Oh, you mean my life's work? Yeah. No. No. Yeah.
That's exactly.
There's a Picasso over here. You want to pick that up and draw a little bit on it, like color in the part that he didn't do? I don't think so.
Yeah. Put your greasy fingers all over it. I'd love nothing more.
Well, man, thanks for stopping by, man.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to see this all go down.
I was very excited to come over here and talk to you. You know, the only thing I don't like is that this place right here is bringing back some good and bad memories.
Well, I was about to say the fact that I'm broadcasting out of the Elimination Chamber. Am I on hallowed ground? Because this is your...
This is mine.
Yeah.
I bet you feel like a real G in here when everyone else is tucked into these little cubbies and you're in the Elimination
They've all got to be so pissed, don't they?
That's all right. You own it. You deserve it, Sam.
How annoyed, before you go, how annoyed, because I was annoyed for you. I was on Twitter after the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, and they go, oh, I can't believe they added mats to the Elimination Chamber. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You're adding years.
Yeah.
To a superstar's career by putting those mats down.
I don't know how authentic this is, but if anyone wants to just run and jump and land on that thing on their back, they can tell you that it's not fun.
Plus, I feel like you guys, there was like this thin little mat on it, and so you guys were like, all right, we'll just go to town on it.
And that's what happened too, you know. But I mean, there's chains. This thing is horrible. It's horrible. And I think I had bruises and cuts all over my body from this thing, and who knows where they came from. Yeah. Not to mention, 4 or 5 other guys in there at any given time that want to just knock your head off, So
when does that pain kick in? Because I'm assuming
this was a special occasion,
right? Like so, the adrenaline just rushes and rushes.
It came off. Yeah, but usually about 30 minutes, 45 minutes once you sit down, and you really just let your body relax, like you will start feeling everything that you just did, and it's always worth it, Yeah, not always.
No, sometimes it's not worth it at all, but sometimes you get to look down and you see the championship, and you're like, and when you look down and see the championship, I would imagine that like now that one was worth it, and all of them were worth it.
And now, I don't want to lose it, but I want it to be, I want to have title after title after title,
How did your family react to you coming home? Because, your dad, there's so many legends in your family, and a lot of them never held the world championship. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I actually didn't even know that. Paul Heyman told me that. Mm-hmm. He congratulated me, called me and told me, he's like, you're the first one. Yeah. And I didn't know that, because I never really measured my success with titles because I never really had any titles, so I was just working hard and trying to be the best me that I could be. But when he told me that, it was a big wow. Yeah. Out of all of us, I'm the one that did it, that's not something I expected,
Yeah. Yeah. It's always nice and that probably makes having the lineage a little easier when now you're it's pushing forward and forward and forward.
Well, I say this all the time. My whole entire life, no matter what accolade, what thing I did great, the first paragraph was about everyone else in my family that was not me and all the things they had done. Mm-hmm. And now it's like when you look at anything about them, it's a whole paragraph about me. It's amazing. You know what I mean? It's like that's a real cool thing to me. That I kind of fit in and that I've had this success and because I've really worked, man. Yeah. I put my life, my soul into this, so to see it coming back, man, is really cool.
And do you want going forward? Do you like the idea of being on your own, or do you want some kind of Wyatt faction around you.
It's going to be in and out forever.
Yeah.
I think we are owed our own single successes.
Mm-hmm.
And, I wish the best for Harper and them, I hope they do great. But I'm always here, and we're always brothers. Then we'll never stop being brothers.
Right. Yeah, that was that great moment. I think it was at Survivor Series when, like, Braun Strowman has this huge run on Raw, never acknowledging that he was part of the Wyatt family, and then there's this, like, face-to-face, like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like it just doesn't go away.
Yeah. And it never will, And that's the thing is no one even ever asked me about Braun. Oh, will Braun ever be back? Of course he will.
Yeah.
They always come back.
Right. And if you'll notice, like I said before, they change, but they don't, like, Braun looks different, but he doesn't look that different.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know what I mean? He's still Braun Strowman.
I taught him how to tie his shoes. I taught him how to fly, and he remembers that.
Well, thanks a lot for stopping by, man.
Thank you for having me, Sam.
Have fun, dude.
Thank you, buddy.